Let's go over air whips, and we'll kind of look at the vast array of stuff we have here. We don't typically, as a company, choose one style of air duct cleaning. There are many different styles that we have. We have whipping systems, probably 5 or 6 different styles. We have brushing systems. Because we do residential and a vast array of commercial, there's an application for just about everything. There are some that we use more often than others, but nonetheless, we have these various tools at our disposal. Most of the whips which you're going to see here, I have built myself. I can't claim a lot of the design features. I found things I liked on multiple manufacturers and kind of made one that works the best for our company. Along with that, we'll go over, I have a complete kit for making all these, so you can continuously make your own whips. Someone could even get into manufacturing and then selling them if they want, which was something I thought of doing, but we just never had time to go down that venture. We'll start with the very large ones here. These ones are a 1/2 inch line, made of a very rigid tubing. This particular one is a reverse style whip, and we'll go over the details of the heads in a little later, and the type of whip and how to make them. This whip here is used strictly for commercial, generally long chutes. We have several commercial properties that we take care of on a regular basis that have dryer vent shafts, which run up to 8 stories. The one behind this one in front here, I guess I should say, is that one is 25 feet long. The one behind it is a 35 footer and a 25 footer coupled together for when there's the coupling right there for when we use the drops on this. We have a building that's 8 stories that we do the dryer vent shafts on. These are rigid, they push down really well, yet there are some OGs and offsets in that duct system, and these will still allow it to go around them better than a rigid pipe system, which I'll show you in a bit. Then we have a forward whip system. We have a couple of those. The forward whip is obviously for pushing. The reverse whips, we have a couple of those here. Reverse whips are designed for pulling debris. These are our small whips. We have 3 of those here. These are used, probably the most used tool. It's used basically for pushing in mostly residential. When you have the 6-inch supply lines, we'll push these down it. The larger whips are typically used for returns and trunk lines. And we have all the extra piping. I don't show it here, but lots of extra tubing for making these, and all the part numbers for things to make them. Just about all the parts are available at Grainger or McMaster Carr, so it's not a big deal in getting them. Here we have some ball systems. These 2 here are reverse balls. Here's a rather large one, and here's a little smaller aluminum one. These we'll use primarily in dryer vent systems if we need to shoot it down if there's a big plug. We have used these on transient ducts, which are ducts that are in the ground. Sometimes they fill up with sand. They do a great job of pulling large debris. This particular one is a push ball, so it pushes out the end, and the line is much more rigid, so you can push it through if there's a clog and maybe a dryer vent that you have to get out. Typically, the dryer vents that we do use the small whip located over here, but in the case where there's a clog, sometimes it's best to run one of these through first, and then we'll hit it with the small forward whip. We do have 2 Viper systems here. Don't use them a lot, and we've actually converted. We have some conversion pieces to use these rods with the design of head that we use. We also have several rod systems. This particular one here can also run with our MaxiVac brush system. I think MaxiVac is the name of it. Danaprobe, that's the one. Danaprobe brush system can hook onto these as well. We have a regulator there, and several 4-foot wands and some 10-foot wands. And the lighter colored one is just a little larger diameter. It's a little more rigid. We use these again primarily commercial. We've done return systems in 200,000 square foot buildings where the return system is 5 or 6 stories tall and 10 foot by 10 foot. and we'll take these long rigid ones and just work them around the edges from the top down, or sometimes from the bottom. We'll stick somebody in a full suit and do it from the bottom depending upon the situation, and keep adding the rods and just go down and get it all clean that way. Here's a bunch of hand tools, different 4-foot spray wands, a bunch of little spray wands that we use in our tool bucket every day. This Guard Air is an air-powered vacuum. If you just have to pick something up quick, it fits in the toolbox nicely. If you got your air pressure there and you got to suck something up quick, don't have to worry about getting out a vacuum. That works well. This is a kit we use for building all the whips, which will come with everything, and each one has these are how we put the little pieces in for the ends of the whips. This is where we keep extra parts dealing with pneumatics. This here is all extra air fittings and adapters. These are what the whips look like. So they have a, we switch the camera here. They have a little ball in the end there that holds it open yet prevents it from pulling through the hole. And then these are what the small whips look like. There's a very tiny one in the end of there. I don't know if that'll focus on that very well. That's what they look like. And then all the tubing, there's enough tubing here to make, I don't know, thousands and thousands of whips. You'd never run out. Plus we have all the extra tubing for making the whips themselves and the part numbers for making everything.